Welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry. The master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Look into the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you. Blind ambition.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. We are on episode 22, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host, Antar Cool. What's going on, man?
All of North Jersey is underwater.
Aquaman's coming.
I was going to say I'm a merman now, but okay.
Hey, you can be both. But, yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I'm here in Maryland, and we're not underwater, but it rained a whole lot. But luckily the sun kind of, sort of came out, but then went away again. But, yeah, other than that, life is pretty good. Real quick, before we get started, I promised that I would make a Twitter like 3 episodes ago. I kind of lied. It took me a little after, but I did make one. So I am on Twitter at Serial Sensei. So you can follow me and such and such. So today, no MMA fights specific.
I mean, they're happening somewhere. Just
yeah, somewhere on Earth.
If we were putting, Victory Fight Challenge review in the title, I don't think AI would click.
Right. So somewhere, somebody's fighting.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe we have some Combate America fans out there, and we just don't know it.
We gotta try. We have to try one day. See if we get one click.
One day, just every single fight. Yeah, maybe they'll hit us up for thanks for actually talking about us.
Find them on Twitter, and we'll do it, and we'll tag them. I'm all for it. But we will have MMA talk. There's not too many fights in specific, but I think this episode is gonna be pretty fun. Gonna be probably a little all over the place, but I think that's a good thing. Change things up a bit. So first topic to tackle. Boxing, I guess you can say, continues a good streak of some really good fights.
2017 has been solid as fuck.
Yeah, and so I was a little angry. I didn't know that this fight took place so early in the day, so I didn't get a chance to watch it in real time.
Nothing, bro.
Yeah, had to read play-by-play while I was at work, and I was pretty hurt that I wasn't watching this in real time, but
I watched the first 8 rounds on Periscope because I was driving home from work, literally racing and swerving between cars trying to get in front of the TV.
And I was just sitting at my work computer, just angry. I knew I was missing something good. So for people who don't know, if you were living under a rock or maybe you just don't watch boxing, Anthony Joshua and Wladimir Klitschko had a fight this past weekend, and I guess in short, this fight was awesome. This fight was
the best heavyweight fight of the 21st century. I mean, it's only 17 years, but still.
Yeah, I was gonna say by far, easily the best heavyweight fight I've seen in a long time.
And considering just everything that was going on with this fight, the narrative of the young guy, the young unproven talent who's already a superstar going up against the guy who reigned for 11 years and fighting in front of the biggest post World War II audience for boxing in the history of the sport, yeah, it's gonna be fight of the year.
Yeah, when it first started, to be honest, because you watch boxing a lot more than I do, so I'd actually never seen Joshua fight much before. I think I've seen like a few highlights, but never like an entire fight. I think I've seen maybe a couple of Klitschko fights.
If you've seen Joshua knock somebody out, you've seen one of his fights before, because they normally, especially early on, they were going like 1-2 rounds.
All right, so he's a flatliner. He just
Basically, like he hurts people. He's a big, athletic, fast man who hurts people.
He definitely he carried that tradition this fight. Just took a while for it to kind of materialize, but yeah, this fight was awesome. The first couple of rounds, I feel like Joshua was pretty. The first round was definitely a feel-out round, and then I feel like probably the second and third, it kind of, Joshua to me was just winning based on just kind of volume. Like it just felt like Klitschko couldn't really. He had good footwork, but he wasn't really getting a lot off.
See, like especially in the second round, I think Klitschko was getting off more with the jab, because he was really like, you could really tell like that AJ was getting like frustrated with Klitschko just putting it in his face.
Mm-hmm.
But in the third round, like you saw like hit Joshua like switch it up, because every time Klitschko would every time Joshua would show the jab, Klitschko would duck out of range, as opposed to try to follow the head. He'd throw the right hand right underneath the lead arm of Klitschko, who would stick it, who would use it to bridge out. So like that, and that's something he stuck with basically the entire fight, where he was going to the body. Like at one point, they showed the graphic on the I guess on the German broadcast of the fight, because that's the one I watched the first time. Because that's the one I found the best quality. It was like 720 or something, and it was like 22-1 at one point, and I think it was like the sixth or seventh round, and it was pretty clear that Klitschko wasn't comfortable throwing to the body, but that was all Josh. That was primarily what Joshua was setting up to do. And Joshua had the best success when he didn't jab. Like
he was using that hook a lot.
Yeah, the hook.
That left hook was money.
Like people were talking about the uppercut after the fight, but the hook was the one that his offense got off. Like when Joshua didn't care about Klitschko and just kind of went after him, he had his best moments in the fight by far.
Which I think was the first knockdown was that round. I think it was round 5. It was like 5 or 6. Was
5.
Like the first.
It was 5.
Yeah, was the first knockdown. And I almost thought it was gonna be over with. I almost thought it was gonna be over with then. Yeah, Joshua. It's a scary. It's a big dude.
Yeah. Hey, this is the heaviest he came in, because I think he started his career around 220. Now he's up at 250.
Yeah, he's a solid like.
Yeah, no, like.
Yeah, superhero built 250.
Like he's freaking. He's Vince McMahon's wet dream. Like, good God, he's just a straight up action figure.
Pretty much. I gotta give Klitschko a lot of credit though, because after that first knockdown, like I feel like he recovers pretty good.
Oh yeah.
For as heavy as the hits that he took, especially in that fifth, and he still maintained his footwork. Like he didn't look lost or anything. And then was it the very next round he caught Joshua with the 1-2? I think it was a left right, and then he dropped.
Well, that's the thing. Like one of the things Klitschko was doing in this fight, which Joshua wasn't, and I don't think Joshua prepared for, but it's a really simple thing. He'd show the jab, he'd show the jab, and he'd threaten with the hook if Joshua tried to close distance. But sometimes he'd use the jab, and instead of just trying to circle out or whatever, he'd just wrap it, or he'd just grab Joshua's lead wrist and fire the cross right afterwards. And that's what caused that knockdown in the 6th round for Klitschko.
And that was mean. That was a nasty.
Yeah, no, that might be the freaking hardest punch he's ever landed. And the crazy thing is that all started immediately after he got knocked down in the 5th round, right? Where like it just seemed pretty clear that he wasn't as badly hurt as we thought he was, because like almost immediately he just like gets off on Joshua, and Joshua. At one point, I thought the ref was going to give Joshua like a standing 8 in the corner, because his leg, you can just see his legs just completely lock up underneath him as Klitschko's unfurling on him on the ropes, and like he looks up like he's lost and doesn't know where he is. And this is like a minute and a half after Joshua knocks Klitschko down.
Right, yeah. I was gonna say, because even towards the end of the 5th, like you could tell Klitschko was starting to get back into it.
Yeah, that wasn't that if it had just played out evenly, it would have been a 10-8 round for Joshua. No, it ended being a 10-9 round for like Joshua instead of 10-8. And then Klitschko got the 10-8 in the 6th because he was wailing on him.
Right, yeah. He was unloading. And he was really technical with his strikes, like not wasting a lot of throws. This
was the best Klitschko has looked technically and physically in a very long time. Like, because he's kind of gotten away with, the jab and clutch, and his last fight with Tyson Fury, he kind of just looked like a punching bag for like 11 and a half rounds. Before he was like, oh crap, I'm about to lose my title in the 12th, and just kind of tried to unload on him, and even that didn't work. But like he was moved. This is the best he's probably ever moved, like in terms of just like being quick on his feet and like getting out of the way. And there's always been this weird thing with like boxing fans where like they question the toughness of the Klitschkos. I've never understood it myself, because but like seeing him get up at 41 years old after eating Joshua's power in the 5th and the 11th round was just like,
right.
No, this motherfucker's tough as shit.
And it's not like he was afraid to engage or like.
Oh,
he jumped right back into it. Like it was almost like nothing even happened.
Dude, when he ate that uppercut he ate in the 11th round would have literally knocked out anybody.
Yeah, and I've watched that sequence so many. That uppercut was so vicious.
And that's actually another thing for Joshua, where he showed just like so much intelligence, because right before that uppercut he threw the hook and Klitschko ducked under it, and Klitschko had been doing that before in the fight. Like I guess he noticed that Klitschko ducks under the hook. So what he did, instead of immediately firing the uppercut, he kind of grabs around the head and pushes it.
Yeah. It was like a half second, almost like clinch, almost.
Yeah, like he just like not enough that the ref will be like, you can't do that, but like enough to where Klitschko's not going to get out the way right away, and then he hits him with that uppercut, and like Klitschko immediately tries to make it seem like it didn't hurt by like moving side to side, moving his head to side, but like. Yeah, it's one of those things where like you're trying too hard, man. We know it.
Right. And like if you watch that uppercut in slow motion, like Klitschko's arm movement, he does like this hula hoop movement with like the force behind that uppercut was so.
It looked like it knocked his shoulder out of the place.
Right. Like
it was so hard.
It was scary. And then I think what happened, yeah, he kind of backed him up after that, and then he caught him. I can't remember if it was an overhand right. He caught him with something that kind of landed almost like behind his head almost, and he knocked him down. And then
he stood up.
Right, stood right back up.
But you could also immediately tell he was hurt, because he tried, instead of walking to the referee, he tries to walk towards Joshua, and the ref has to corral him back.
And then Joshua just.
And then Joshua got him up against the ropes. Landed an an uppercut hook that, oh my god, it looked like Klitschko had died for like a good second.
It seemed like to me in the latter half of the fight, like around like 6 and 7, when Klitschko was kind of gaining ground. I feel like Joshua might have took like maybe a round or two off, because it seemed like he was a little tired.
He was like dead tired at the end of the 6th round. He came out in the 7th. I think he threw like maybe 10 punches that whole round. He looked a little better in the 8th, and by the end of the 9th, 10th round, he was back in the fight.
Right, yeah.
Which, by the way, is super impressive, considering the man has never fought past like the 7th round before.
Right, and managed to catch a really good second wind.
Yeah, but that's some stuff that only happens when you're young, man.
Right. And how many times did he knock him down in the last? Was it 3?
He knocked him down twice, and then the ref stepped in on the last one. Was like,
On
nah,
the third
man.
one, yeah.
Like, we don't need to see you on the ground again.
Yeah, because he got, it was the uppercut, and then he got knocked down after that, and then he got right back up and caught another flurry.
Oh yeah,
and went right back down.
Dude, that uppercut hook that he landed for his third knockdown, I think it was. Yeah. Oh my god, it was so beautiful.
And then Klitschko tried again, and
The ref had to step in, and stop it.
Yeah. But
So,
it was great finish.
and shouts to Joshua, who had like the perfect post-fight speech.
That might have been one of the classiest.
He just showed Klitschko so much respect and reverence. Shout out all the legends who were ringside. Gave a shout out to Tyson Fury. It was like, you want to come? You want to fight? Let's do this, brother. Good. Thank the staff. It was just like his whole thing was, I hope this fight inspires the kid to be better than me. The kids out there to go put on the gloves and be better than me. And after a decade of having, like, Floyd Mayweather as the face of boxing, it's kind of refreshing to have Anthony Joshua there, who just really seems to love the sport.
Right. Yeah. He's kind of like the complete polar opposite in terms of just like attitude and.
Yeah. It's fun. It's funny because you can see like all the racist UK people who just want him to be such a like terrible human being so badly.
He's a stand-up guy. A true gentleman.
His life story is great because like he's the son of like Nigerian immigrants. He got arrested for like selling weed. And that was a huge thing going into with his like thing. Like people who hate him like talk about that a lot. Like, oh, he sold weed. He's like this worst human being to ever walk the planet Earth. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Obviously, Britain has some very different connotations of like what a bad person is.
Right.
Like, he got shit for going to like a mosque. Like he's not Muslim, but I think he was there like with like a friend or like one of his brothers. It was just
people just pick straws just to.
Yeah, it's just. I guess that's just more like where the UK is at right now. Well, yeah, a lot of the West, but whatever. Besides the point, no, like that was just an all-around amazing night for boxing. That's maybe not Rumble in the Jungle or whatever, but one of those types of deals. But that's an iconic. That's an iconic night that people will talk about 20, 30, 40 years from now.
Right.
They're talking about all-time boxing moments.
And it was even crazy because even on my Facebook news feed, I normally don't see that many people hype for like a boxing fight. But when that KO happened, everybody on my news feed, or they were either talking about the KO or that uppercut.
Dude,
that was just like
like almost like a half hour after the fight, like ESPN was on. I tuned in and they were showing like highlights of the fight. I was like, oh my god, they never show UK fights.
Right. Yeah. It was a big deal, and you hope that they can, maybe we'll get another big fight like that. Hopefully, that momentum can kind of keep rolling. Yeah, Deontay Wilder. Yeah, that has to happen.
Wilder. If Tyson Fury can get his life together, that'd be a great fight for the UK. Like, I can't imagine like a bigger fight. King Kong, Luis Ortiz, Joshua Parker might be a little bit on the dull side but for people who come to heavyweight, expect like these big dudes who just slobber to throw slobber knockers at one another. But that'd be a good fight. Who else? I'm gonna throw a name out there. Eric Perez, who fought Joshua Parker for the heavyweight title, and if he was in a little bit better shape, would probably be Mexico's first male heavyweight champion. Because he's kind of just like he's kind of a Roy Nelson body type. But he's undoubtedly skilled. You know what I mean? He's really fast. Like you would not expect him to be that fast if you saw a picture of him. There are fights out there for Joshua, and there's no excuse for him not to not have big fights ahead of him.
Right.
Like I think his mandatory for his IBF is is his IBF? I think so. Is Pulev, who's this heavyweight out of Russia, is pretty good. Pretty good. He's better than anybody like Deontay Wilder has beat. But yeah, no, there's stuff out there for him if he really wants it. He seems like the type that really wants it. 19 fights, 19 KOs. The first opportunity you get to fight a guy like Wladimir Klitschko, you take it and you beat him.
Right.
That's another thing. He carries himself like a champion. Like he carries himself like he was built for this. Like I love it when guys like celebrate and like especially MMA where they like, jump the cage and they go out and they hug their mom and their girlfriend and stuff like that.
Right.
But like you saw what happened when like the ref stopped the fight, right? He just kind of no.
He did this really calm strut, like.
No, yeah, and he did it after every round. Like that's how he carries himself. He carries himself like a champion. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and the smirk he gave Klitschko when the ref stopped the fight, like, oh my god.
Like he knew this was gonna happen.
Like this was an eventuality for him.
Right.
And if you're his team, like this could not have been a better night. He got pushed to like his limit. He showed that he had a second gas tank in him. Like he showed that he could fight through adversity, and he showed he could carry his power deep into fights. Like maybe for Eddie Hearn, if you're trying to push the narrative that was it Hearn? Eddie Hearn. If you're Eddie Hearn, you were like campaigning on this thing where he's gonna knock him out in 2 rounds. He's gonna show he's the best heavyweight on the planet. Blah 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 blah. Like maybe promotionally it's not like the greatest thing. But if you're Joshua's team, that night could not have been any better.
All right. Respect the uppercut.
Yeah.
Respect the uppercut. But yeah, that was an awesome back and forth fight. I would love to see him and Wilder.
Not seen it? Go watch it.
Right. Yeah. If you have not seen it, it will be the best heavyweight fight you've seen.
In a
probably
long time.
Right, in a very, very long time.
Probably since the Lewis Vitali fight.
Which was, what was that? Probably about
almost 15 years ago or something. I don't remember.
But yeah, awesome fight. I hope he fights Wilder next, only because Wilder's one of the only other heavyweights I've seen fight a couple of times. He seems mildly entertaining. He's fun personality. So I feel like that fight could just be on an entertainment level. I feel like a lot of people would probably enjoy that. But yeah, whoever Anthony Joshua fights next, I'm all in for it.
Dude's already a huge star in the UK, man. I hope he can make. I hope that crosses over.
Yeah, he's gained a fan over here. That uppercut. Like, how can you have to be a fan after the uppercut?
Yeah.
Like and props to Klitschko though, man. Like to
be dude,
how old is he? 40?
He's 41 and dragged himself off the mat 3 times. And not only dragged himself off the mat, he wasn't winning the fight on the judges' cards. Like the judge, I know that for a fact. Like one judge had him up. One judge had it either a draw or him up by 1 round, and the other 2 had Joshua up by like 2 or 4 rounds or some crazy number like that. But I thought Klitschko was edging out the fight, especially after Joshua looked like he was just dead tired and just done.
Right.
But like coming back after getting knocked down in the 5th round like that's huge. And
yeah,
if he wants to, there's still a place for him in boxing. He's the 3rd best heavyweight out there. I think he wallops Deontay Wilder. Like I really do. But I can't imagine him having a better night against Joshua, because Joshua's gonna grow from this fight, and I'm not sure if 41 Vlad will. You know,
But not a yeah. But
I'm not against a rematch by any stretch of imagination.
We'll see. Yeah, I hope he fights again though. I don't think after the fight he didn't give any hints of like retirement.
Oh no. Dude makes way too much money to not play again. Like Germany gives him like $20 million a German television company gives him like $20 million to freaking to air his fights. Like you didn't watch the German version of the broadcast, right?
No.
So the German version I watched had between every round, like I don't remember the name. It was like Odier or something like that. But on his shorts he had a logo for a French perfume a German perfume company, and they had his ad running every single and it wasn't like the same ad. It was like 3 or 4 or 5 different ones. So like this man's getting paid.
At 41, still racking in them checks.
And Josh was about like, oh my God, Joshua's got 13 major sponsorships already.
I'm about to say, yeah.
He hasn't touched foot in the U.S. yet. Like, all right.
And I feel like over here we've been, like heavyweight used to be, that was the thing.
Well, yes and no. Like, we have this really rose-tinted view of like the past heavyweight divisions. Like, I'll give this heavyweight's probably gotten older and a little rounder around the edges. The guys have gotten bigger, but there have been few moments in the past where like heavyweight was like a real deep division. It was more popular, but it wasn't really significantly deeper. Like, have you ever heard of what was the dude's name? 2-Ton Joe or something like that?
No, that sounds like somebody I need to look up though.
2-Ton Tony Galento.
2-Ton.
And just look up an image of him.
2-Ton. Okay, hold up. We got all right, we got some Google coming
up. Yeah. So that guy fought Joe Louis. That guy who happens to be from Bergen County, New Jersey. Shouts to him. Fought Joe Louis for the heavyweight title back in like 1939 or something. And he knocked him down multiple times. Like, yeah, he knocked him down at least twice, I think.
Oh my God. Yeah, for people listening, definitely just Google. Oh man, this is great. Yeah, Google this guy. This is some interesting footage. He's built like Popeye.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like and mind you, this is back when like heavyweights were like barely any of them were cracking 200 pounds.
Man.
Like, imagine if like you had to fight Wladimir Klitschko, who's like 7 feet tall, and you're Joe Louis, who's like 5'10", 5'11".
He would have cleaned these dudes.
Yeah, so like hell, freaking when Ali debuted, he was like 170 pounds or something like that. Joe Louis was like 6'2", never mind, but he was only 214 pounds. And that's without like proper dieting or whatever. Like, that's back in like the 40s and 30s where they were just like, okay, this is healthy, so eat it.
All right. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to look at some of his fights because they got some of them on YouTube.
Yeah, go watch him knock down Joe Louis.
Oh man,
one of the greatest offensive heavyweights of all time.
But yeah, that fight just awesome. If you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor and go and watch the whole fight. Don't just watch the knockout. Like, go from round 1 all the way to 11. You will not be disappointed.
Heavyweight boxing back, y'all.
All right, boxing solid, man. Good year, and we'll see what Canelo and company do tomorrow.
Can't wait till 2018 until we get all these boxer versus MMA fighter boxing matches.
We'll see. They were talking about Stipe and was it Stipe and JDS both willing to fight, willing to fight Joshua.
And that kind of gets into my what I want to talk about in a little bit, the state of the UFC and MMA, and fuck Dana White.
You wanna roll into that first and save the Rushmore for last?
Yeah. So,
all
right. It came out today or yesterday that JDS and Stipe Miocic want to fight Anthony Joshua to determine who's the baddest man on the planet. And what really happened is they looked at the fact that Joshua made like $13 million guaranteed, that before any of his sponsors or the pay-per-view revenue or his percentage of the live gate kicked in, which is reportedly about like bringing it somewhere near to like $40 million US. And they're like, oh, I want to fight that guy. So, and they're not the only ones, because you have Jose Aldo out here talking about, oh, I want to go do boxing. You have Jimmy Manuel calling out, he called out David Hay.
Yeah, my friend, had told me that. I didn't know that was like, that was crazy to me.
So, and this kind of goes into what I'm thinking, like, okay, these fighters are starting to realize that their pay scale might be a little bit bullshit.
Oh yeah.
And that the real money to make might be somewhere else. And we have one person who is out here actually complaining, and that's Mr. Al Rajan Ayaquinta, who earlier today yesterday tweeted to the UFC, "Cut me, you sissies." This is, so for those who don't know, Al Ayaquinta has been on Twitter all week posing as Donald Trump, basically. Donald Trump as the president of the UFC, and has just been trolling the UFC and any fighters who try to like hem favor for UFC, like Mike Perry, for trying to like go at him. And it's the most hilarious thing. Like, what did he say? Oh, Mike Perry called him out in a link that had Dana White in it, and he was like, "Dana, let me clown this fool." And Dana didn't respond to that, but he responded to like an egg, like someone with like an egg Twitter, like oh, you just got Twitter. Like egg Twitter is basically throwaway accounts and stuff, or troll accounts. And Al not missing a beat goes, Dana responds to egg avatars on Twitter, but not Mike Perry. Sad! Exclamation point. And that's kind of the state of UFC, where people are realizing their worth. They want to leave, and no one's happy. Anderson Silva came out and said, "I want to fight Yoel Romero for the interim middleweight title, or I'm not fighting anymore." Yoel Romero's fed up, because he wants to fight for a title, and it just came out today with GSP tweeting Michael Bisping saying, "Oh, you can pick a date, but it has to be after October." It's May. October is 5 months away.
Yeah, that's a whole nother season, a whole season away.
Like, we are in strange times in the UFC, because Ronda's gone. Dana White said, "I'm not worried about Conor retiring after the Mayweather fight." But let's be honest. If Conor goes and does the Mayweather fight, and he gets paid like $100 million, you think he wants to come back to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson for like a fifth of that?
Right.
If he's
I'm on Ayaquinta's Twitter now. This is it's a lot of entertainment.
GSP's back, but like he said, he's not back till November earliest. And I don't know if you saw that video of him working out, but he might be a little round in the stomach. He's not in fighting shape. It's pretty obvious. And so there's no GSP for at least another 5 months. There's no Conor McGregor until this Mayweather fight comes together. There's no Ronda Rousey if this fight comes together. There's no Ronda Rousey. There is no Anderson Silva might be leaving soon enough if they don't give him what he wants. So we just like what's left. Not to mention none of these fighters are happy because they're looking around and realizing the company just sold for $4.2 billion. Guys are getting cut left and right.
Yeah, and we're not seeing any of that 4.2 billion. They're not.
Yeah, we're not seeing any of that. There are reports on like MMA Junkie saying that we can save costs from like reports from WME saying we can save costs by cutting fighter pay or cutting fighter salaries or whatever. And that's why they've lost like 100 people this year so far. So like no one's happy. People aren't being promoted. There's no direction. Like meritocracy was always the direction when the Fertitas and Joe Silva were around. And it kind of just feels like without that, what the hell are all these dudes doing?
Like, I think the worst thing is like there's so much talent there. Like everything is there.
Here's the thing, like the only people who seem to have any passion for any of this anymore is Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby. And it shows in their work because they're booking like fantastic fights. But everything else feels flat as fuck.
And it sucks for them because they'll book a great fight, but the result of that great fight, almost like nowadays, it doesn't
merit anything.
Yeah, it doesn't hold any kind of weight. Because you just don't know. Title shots
don't mean anything.
Yeah.
The UFC promotes. I love them, but the UFC promotes Sage Northcutt and like Paige Van Zandt, who, oh god, I forgot all about Paige Van Zandt and her like LSG driven cam girl style Reebok advertisement. Did you see this?
No.
So.
Is it a commercial or?
I think Paige Van Zandt might have a history as a cam girl because she's a little too good at it. But she tweeted a video of her wearing Reebok gear and like trying to advertise it, and seemed pretty clear she might be on something.
Yeah.
Also, it was a little risque in tone, maybe not in content, but in tone. But beside the point, like we see these UFC tries to market these people, they fall flat on their face. Like, what are the goal? Like, what's the end goal? What's the vision? What's the roadmap? Like,
I think they're just
exactly. They're just they're lost in the wind. They don't know what they're doing. Like,
I think it's all right. We're gonna put all our eggs in this one basket. Oh, that basket broke. Okay, we're gonna throw them in another basket. Oh, that basket broke. Okay, now we gotta like. And then it's kind of like this hot potato thing.
Yeah, and then we have Nick and Nate, who just realized that there are no stars in this sport anymore. So let's just sit on our hands for a while, and then the UFC will give us whatever they want because they're going to be desperate. And this is where we get. Did you see Nate's interview on Ariel Helwani?
I was gonna say I didn't see the interview, but I wanted to get to Nate because of the tweet that you had posted.
Right. Oh, about Dana?
Yeah.
And this is why
let's
I say
get to that.
Fuck Dana White.
Let's get to that tweet because that.
I will put up with Dana White saying, "Oh, this is the greatest fight ever," for like I don't know, Swanson Gobov.
Right, him just trying to be a hype man.
Because that's your job. You have to make. Sometimes, as a promoter, you gotta make gold out of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? You gotta make it sparkle. But for the past like, what, 5 months? Like, Dana White hasn't been a promoter. Like, at this point, he is actively attacking his own fighters. They are your wares. Like, you are trying to sell these people to people. And, like, I don't know if you watch wrestling, but it's like Stephanie McMahon, like, freaking, emasculating all their top stars and saying, oh, this is how we're going to get them over. You know how we get, Roman Reigns over? We have Stephanie McMahon slap him in the face, and then he takes it, and then nobody sees him again for the rest of the episode. People don't want that. Like, how are you going to say that the B-side to your two biggest pay-per-views ever is a nobody? Then people don't care about him. Like, you ran a show in New York with your biggest star, and it still didn't do it what the Diaz fights did.
Right.
And those cards only had one title fight between them, while the New York one had 3, and was in New York, the media center of the world.
And just to run the quote, because I clicked on the article just so I could get the whole quote. So Dana says, and I quote, "I mean, listen, at the end of the day, what is Diaz," referring to Nate, "without Conor McGregor? I don't know. The kid isn't in a position for pay-per-view or any type of that stuff. But this could put him in a position, if he fought Tony Ferguson, it would be for the interim belt." And then he goes on to say a bunch of other whatever. But it's like,
fuck you, Dana.
right? It's like hypothetically speaking,
I don't care how angry you are, the Diaz's, for not wanting to fight for, less than what they think they're worth. I don't care that you don't think these guys will sell. You don't go to your fan base and be like, no, these guys aren't important, but they should fight for the interim belt, and people might care then. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and we've seen it plenty of times.
Like,
you get in the supposed.
He did this with Woodley too.
Right.
And it just makes people feel stupid for being committed.
It's like he could go out and fight Tony, and hypothetically speaking, he could blast Tony, and he's still title. It's not gonna be guaranteed. Like, it's so just. I feel like everybody's just running around in separate directions, but there's no. It's like a football team with no coach.
And then you compare this to, say, Bellator, where you have guys like Ryan Bader and Roy McDonald and Phil Davis being like, "Oh yeah, I'll fight a weight division up because I believe Scott Coker has a plan. He has a roadmap." When we spoke, like, there is a vision of the future, and I'm in it.
Right. And I've been saying this for a long time, man. I don't know how long this window is going to be open, because it seems like, I mean, like you said, the UFC, they do put on good fights, but they're on the side of just so many shenanigans. Man, this is Bellator's time. Like, take advantage while this window is open to build something legitimate that, people can look at and see, like, oh, there's a structure here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just we pick this guy and we hope, we throw all our money at him and hope he pans out, and then if he doesn't, we just pick somebody else.
Yeah.
Like,
Bellator has been doing the right thing with their prospects. They have been doing the right thing with their young guys. Like, it took me a long time to get this, because I was like, oh, Bellator's not buying into any prospects. Oh, Bellator's buying into guys who are coming in, but they're going to be like 3-4 years out before, like, they get interesting.
right.
But I still tune in to go see Ed Ruth and Tyrell Fortune and Steve. God, I can't even pronounce this man's name. Steve Kozaka, like that lightweight who just got that 36-second KO.
Mm.
I'm going to tune in when Dylan Danis makes his MMA debut. I'm going to tune in when Valerie Letourneau or Illumile McFarlane are fighting, because Bellator has built them and made them into people I want to see, and that's being a promoter. And I get Dana's doing this on a scale where, like, oh, casual fans don't care about X, Y, and Z. But this is how you lose your fan base.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you can say they don't care, but at this
Because
point,
they're
it's
trying to
almost
sell
like,
to like the casual, but like at the same end, like there's a reason like the like again, I'm gonna go back to pro wrestling. Like WCW fans were wrestling fans, but when the WWE bought the Nitro, they never came back. They just left wrestling. So like, why are we actively like undercutting our audience?
I'm interested to see. I don't know when it'll happen. Like, I feel like there's gonna have to be a point where this all blows up.
Yeah,
like, I don't know
I don't know who it takes leaving. I don't know if it happens like if Connor, like I said, if Connor leaves, like they have nothing. They have nobody who can sell pay-per-views. Maybe John Jones, but again, I'm not even sure John Jones is going to fight again at this point.
Yeah, that's still, as much as we want to see him back, that's still up in the air.
Yeah, they gave him the date, July 30th, UFC whatever title fight. He's not going to be in the main event because, like I said, they can't trust him in the main event. So, like, I don't know what the future is. I don't know what the roadmap is. Oh my God, we talked about Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko finally getting a date. Like, Dana White, I don't know what the opposite of promotion is.
Right, but he does it with Nunes.
But with yeah. Like, not even just ignoring her. Like, not even just ignoring her in the build-up to the Rousey fight, but going up to the podium afterwards and defending not advertising his champion by saying, I could have invested $100 million into Amanda Nunes promotion and
nobody would have known.
One, that's asinine. Two, why? Why would you say something like that? She just knocked out she just, oh my God.
Yeah, like, and if people, like, if you didn't pay attention,
the two most popular women in sport.
And these weren't, like, these were brutal finishes. Yeah, like, she destroyed these people.
She dropped in subs Tate, and then she murdered Rousey. You want that? Like, and no, I get that, it's trying to sell Ronda Rousey, blonde white girl dominating and martial art, that exotic martial art or whatever, like judo, is an easier sell than immigrant LGBT community member Amanda Nunes, but there's still a story there. There's still an audience for that. Like, it's not rocket science.
Right. And, like, there's an audience, and then there's the product. Like, when they watch her fights, they're gonna know why she was hyped up so much.
Yes.
Like, she's gonna go in, and she's gonna perform. She's gonna kill somebody. Like, that's what she does. She kills people.
And you know what? I bet you that the build-up for Shevchenko Nunes is going to have a lot of Shevchenko's dancing. Like, her dancing on Peruvian TV, like the fact that she shoots guns in like freaking like they're gonna have like the photo of her like shooting guns in dresses up there with like her sister, and it's going to focus solely on like aesthetics and not so much on the fact that Nunes is like this interesting person, and it's going to kill me a little bit inside. And coming back to the whole boxing thing, like boxing's boom and bust, just like MMA is, and it doesn't have like the safety of having a promotion like the UFC where maybe I don't care about fighter X and fighter Y, or maybe I'm not investing enough to spend money in seeing fighter X and fighter Y on pay-per-view, but the UFC brand is something I can get behind. It also lets fighters control their narratives a lot better.
Right.
Like the sport of boxing, if you are a character in the sport of boxing, you are an individual. You're not a product of product of a system. What am I talking about? You are not a face in the crowd.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the UFC, it's like
it's so. And this is a system of what people want it with boxing. Like they want a system where like, oh, the best fight the best, blah blah blah. But like we're seeing so quickly what happens when that system is undercut with the motivation of making money.
Right. And it's like maybe it works for a little bit, you know. All right, you get a few, I won't call them freak fights, but you know, you get your special attention fights, the ones that you know are gonna rake in, you know, just boatloads of cash or whatever. But like those run out, and they run out fairly fast. Like you can't reproduce those over and over.
Like I said, when Silva and GSP and Conor decide, oh, I'm done with this fighting thing for now, what happens? Does WME care enough to like reinvest in this thing? Do the Fertittas be like, oh, we sold it for $4.2 billion. Let's buy it back now for like a quarter of that.
They're going in. I thought I read something like they're going into. Are they going into football now?
They are. Last I read about them, they started like a $500 million investment firm. I know they want to get into football. Like their dream is to build like an LA team, and have Lorenzo son play like quarterback. He's not that good. He played on the same. Well, he played on the same team that Snoop Dogg's kid did in high school. But yeah, like no.
But LA is getting a football team, so
Vegas. They want Vegas to have a team.
I'm pretty sure that won't be too far off. Like,
I think they just voted for that to happen. I'm not 100% sure.
So they're probably gonna be out of the MMA door. Yeah, I don't think they're. They're not coming back.
Like, and another thing, Joe Silva, from what I understand, like Joe Silva was somebody the Fertittas and Dana wanted there, so his opinion really mattered. I'm not sure, like, they tried, like, I think right now we're seeing what happens when Dana really steers the ship, and like there's no way there to tell him no, or calm down, or dude, we have to stick with the game plan. And they're like really competing narratives on this. Like some people at the UFC are saying, "Oh, Dana's really the only one in charge anymore. Like the WME guys are not over his shoulder." And then they're like, "Oh no, WME has been hands on with everything." But yeah, I don't know. Like it's insane.
Yeah, it's. At least we got UFC 211 to look forward to.
Yeah, like that's the shameful part.
Is that this card should be all over TV. Like
Stipe Miocic should be like there's a guy who should be promoted. Stipe Miocic is a firefighting paramedic who in his free time is the UFC heavyweight champion of the world and the baddest man on the planet.
Right.
Like
knocking people out. Cold. Just like yeah, like just your average blue collar dude who just happens
ESPN to and freaking like doing like your hey he's a funny guy. Like, you follow him on Twitter. Like, he's a stitch. Like he should be doing like the late night shows and all that other good shit. And the UFC has the connections to make this happen.
And he sounds like Teddy from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
he sounds just like Teddy from Bob's Burgers.
He built his hype, like the Cleveland hype. Like that was real.
Right, and yeah, make no mistake. I mean, I get it. I know probably more people in numbers maybe watch basketball than the UFC. He started the Cleveland resurgence. Yeah. He got the belt before.
Dude, when they had the championship parade, like he was leading.
Right.
He got to lead and he got to like hold the trophy and oh my gosh, like
yeah, like he was that guy, and like the rest of this card is just
like
crazy.
Jacek versus Andrade, Masvidal versus
Maya, Frankie and Yair, which I haven't been more interested in a fight like. Cejudo Pettis, Alvarez Poirier, Chas Kelly, and Jason Knight.
Those last two aren't even on the pay-per-view. Like, that's how good this card is.
Right.
Like, Jason Knight versus Chas Kelly, low-key might steal away Fight of the Night from Jacek Andrade. Or JDS Stipe, because that first fight was like a
just
underrated classic. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah. This card should be all over TV. Like, this is on paper card of the year material. Like, it doesn't get a from top to bottom in terms of quality. It doesn't. You can't get much better than this.
and there's stuff to sell to casual people. Like I said, I think the UFC's missing the boat on Stipe. This is a dude. He's a firefighting paramedic who's a UFC champion in his free time. Who also, when he gets a chance, goes to the Cleveland Indians Stadium for batting practice and just knocks home runs out the park.
Sure, but it's like a blue collar superhero. Like, yeah.
This is a dude who passed up being a Major League Baseball player to be an MMA fighter. Who by the way was also who also happened to be a D1 wrestler and a Cleveland Golden Gloves champion. Like, there's so much there to talk about.
Right.
And it kind of sucks that we know for a fact UFC 211 is probably going to do like 200,000, 250,000 buys.
Right. But
we are in a time of higher highs and lower lows, and it's
right.
Nothing in the middle, and it's really sad.
It's so confusing. It's interesting, but I feel like it's not in a good way. Like, I'm waiting for I'm waiting for this to just blow up one day. I'm waiting for that one headline and I don't know what it's gonna be, but
Conor McGregor retired from MMA.
All right, and then like everybody
ACL for like a fourth time.
And then everybody in the WME office and Dana just walk out and everything just closes down and nobody cares about any other,
Alistair Overeem to Ryzen. Dude, imagine if Ryzen had the UFC's heavyweight division.
Man,
there'd be shenanigans all over the place.
You know what I think is gonna happen eventually? I feel like we're gonna start seeing like an exodus.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, people are just gonna, and it's gonna. I think it's gonna happen relatively fast.
I'm not sure if it's gonna be from the top down or from the middle, like from the bottom out. But people will leave. Yeah. And maybe that's good for the sport. Maybe it does. Maybe it helps like the local interest, because I'm not sure if you saw this. I posted an article from where was it? Crap. Here we go. I think it was from Junkie. Yeah, from Junkie. For regional promoters, finding fighters who sell tickets might be more important than scouting future champions. And a lot of these guys do get like a boost from being in the UFC locally, like from follow.
Right, because that's something. Right, that's something easily
home.
You can sell.
Yeah, and you can bring it home, and maybe that helps promoters. Maybe we see a return of like the regional promotion as a actual thing.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just hoping for the best.
One can only hope. One can only hope, but still be there watching the fights, just praying that this all doesn't blow up one day. But I know it's got to be. It's around the corner.
I don't think it's gonna blow up on them. I think they're just gonna have the rug pulled from underneath their feet. Like, I really don't think WME like expected to be in this position. Where like, oh wait, the fighters aren't happy. Oh wait, what do you mean our best fighter, like our second biggest star, isn't coming back?
Right.
Oh wait, what do you mean we're not going to get $500 million like we thought we would on these TV rights? Instead, we're going to get like $200 million.
Yeah, I think they treated this like it was.
Well, here,
like fighting isn't a real. Like, I don't know. Like
here's the thing though. Like, what type of bit? I think they'll get it from this perspective. What type of sports owner wouldn't want a team where they didn't have a union? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh my God, we're the only game in town and these fighters aren't organized. They're like, ka-ching. Because at the end of the day, I think WME will make their money. It probably won't be the money they wanted to make. And, but in the process of doing so, they're going to lose a lot of talent. And maybe that talent goes somewhere else. And somebody else can find something special to sell to people for that WME. And they're, because I think that happens a lot. Like, I think in the UFC machine, we pass up on guys who could have been draws because, you know, again, facing the crowd, the UFC's focus on selling Paige Van Zandt and Sage Northcutt and Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey, that they're not looking at Lorenz Larkin as somebody they can sell. And maybe Scott Coker can find somebody to sell him to. So who knows?
I was trying to find actually real quick. I can't remember. I think they posted it. The numbers that Strauss and Pitbull did. Like, what was the peak?
The peak was just over 1 million, like 150,000. 1,000. What am I saying? 1,050,000. Yeah, like something like that. Like the average was in the 800s, I think, or 700s, 700,000s.
Oh, hey, Scott Coker, man. The takeover time is now. whatever chess pieces you can move, get them ready. Because I think eventually people will, even a casual, I would like to hope, eventually will wake up to it. Like, because I think one thing I feel like in American sports culture, people like the integrity of their sport.
I think people
a little bit. Like, it takes a while for I think for people to like catch on.
I think
to when they're.
I think people like it when there is a when they know what they're watching, I guess.
Right, yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Whether that be Kimbo versus Dada, just like Kimbo versus Dada, old man Royce versus whatever.
Shamrock.
Gracie versus Shamrock or whatever. Like, if you sell the audience on freak show fight, they're going to tune in for a freak show fight. If you show the audience best versus the best, and that's your mantra, and you don't deliver that, you know, what are you really selling? Like, the audience isn't stupid. And maybe you pop a buy rate, but like we know what's happening.
Yeah.
So, you know.
We'll see.
God, we just talked about that for like 30 minutes.
We did. And it was needed though. Sport is like I said, interesting times to say the least.
I'm having flashbacks. Do you remember that card that Uriah Faber fought on? Where like Dana went up to the podium after the card and just like lambasted everybody and just like hung them out to dry because it was so boring.
Did he main event? What card was?
I have no idea what it was, but I'm about to look it up.
He really does have a terrible history of doing that.
Yeah.
Just like you can't just throw your fighters just.
I mean, he can.
I mean, like, you can't. Yeah.
Because he does.
Because he does it all the time. But yeah, I just gotta imagine, like, if you're a younger fighter and you're, you know, maybe you're in like a LFA or you're in like a Bama and you're looking to make that next jump. Like, I feel like now when you look at the UFC, sure.
That's the thing, and that's the thing. These fighters talk, like, especially in the gym. If you're a 2-0 prospect at I don't know, where's your Yoel Romero train? Like ATT, I think.
Yeah.
If you're a 2-0 prospect at ATT and you train with Yoel Romero, and you're talking, and you see him struggle to not only get a title fight, to get like a fight with Anderson Silva, to get something substantive, after all the work he's put in, and realizing that he has such a small window to actually make like significant money in the sport, because that's what this really is. At the end of the day, like, you get the title to make the money, and you see that, like, do you just look and be like, okay, this might not be the best road for me in the future?
Right.
But there are enough guys who still think, I don't want to say still think, because it's still mostly true. Like, not even mostly, it's still vast majority true that, like, the best fighters are in the UFC.
Yeah, but no matter what shenanigans they pull, the UFC just has that pull.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's the name, you know.
Yeah.
You can't really escape that. But yeah, if they stay on what they're doing, man, we're gonna see something's gonna happen, and we'll be there to cover it.
Eventually, somebody of value will wisen up.
Right, and they'll leave, and it'll, you know, I don't want to see a train wreck, but it could happen. we might see a train wreck.
If not a train wreck, a restructuring of what's happening.
Right. Who knows? Maybe that'll be what the UFC needs to kind of get things back to being more legitimate. You know, sometimes you gotta destroy before you can rebuild.
I really think this is a product of the UFC just not being able to create their own stars. Like Ronda and Conor, Conor and Ronda, you know, to the side. If the UFC was able to maximize the value of, like, the guys who stick around, like Mighty Mouse and Woodley and I'm trying to think of.
Shoot, to me they missed it with Robbie.
Yeah, if they were able to. Oh, Robbie was one of those weird dudes who, like, had weird drawing power. Like, I think the Condit fight did like 400 million, not 400 million, 400,000. The second Robbie Lawler fight did like 400,000 too, and like I think the first one did like 375. Those are good numbers. Like, they're not terrific numbers. They're not like the BJ Penn numbers where he was getting like 500,000 to 600,000 a fight.
Right. But for somebody who doesn't get promoted that much,
but
you know,
that, and for somebody who not for a time where like the bottom is probably like 100,000 buys, as opposed to back in the day where like there were like if this was 2011, your Demetrius Johnson pay-per-view wouldn't be doing 185,000. It'd be doing like 325,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there'd be a higher basement.
Times have changed.
This is what happens when you have 13 pay-per-views a year.
Times have definitely changed.
But they really, from what I understand, they really don't need like that big of a buy rate to turn a profit, especially with what they pay the fighters. So.
I'm gonna leave that at that. We're a little over an hour, but real quick, I know before we head out, one more fun little, I guess, topic or thing wanted to cover. So a while back, I'd had a discussion with some friends about who would go on your MMA Mount Rushmore. So I figured, all right, let's just bring this idea to the podcast.
Yep.
So, I guess just to give a disclaimer.
Neither one of us thought about this very, very
hard. Right. So, yeah, first disclaimer, we probably didn't prepare for this as good as we could have.
It's been a rough week, people.
Yeah, man.
Jersey's underwater.
Right.
I'm busy learning how to breathe, like, grow gills. Like, so I can't be expected to do this.
Right. He's underwater, and, you know, we have lives outside of, you know, recording. We got obligations and things.
I really
don't. But, you know, bottom line, yeah, we're not as prepared. But whatever. We're gonna keep the show rolling. And I'll say second disclaimer. at least for mine, my Mount Rushmore is not are not my favorite 4 fighters.
Same
I
here.
will repeat that. These are not my favorite 4 fighters.
Third disclaimer. I'm not Guzman Berglund. Fuck him. He was a KKK member. So I immediately object to the Mount Rushmore of MMA topic, and I'm just gonna do like 4 dudes. Just like the 4 dudes of MMA.
All right, so that's his criteria.
My criteria really is. I'm going for the analogs of mixed martial arts for the presidents on Mount Rushmore.
All right, so our criteria will vastly be different.
Also, I did not put much thought into that.
Hey,
I'm
man.
kind of ashamed because I'm technically a historian.
It's gonna work out. So that's his criteria. My criteria, which is very loose, but I didn't base it off of necessarily favoritism, just more so a mixture of influence, people who when I saw they made me want to keep watching, and I guess people that I have like a pretty high respect for, you know, inside of the cage or the ring or wherever they may have fought. So, yeah. So who you want to go first, or you want me to lead this?
I guess I'll go first. So,
Right.
I think it's pretty obvious who my George Washington is. It's the man in the pajamas. Hoist. It has to be Hoist because I should probably mention this. I'm going with just North American MMA, and by North American I mean America. Fuck Canada. But I shouldn't say that because that's later. But yeah, Royce number 1. He's my George Washington. He started the UFC. He didn't start it, but he won the first UFC. He introduced jiu-jitsu to all these people. And so it seems pretty obvious.
Oh, we're gonna trade.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to go
Okay.
down my list? Because I'm still debating who Jefferson's gonna be.
All right, we'll trade. So I'll give you a little bit of time. All right, so first person on my Mount Rushmore, and I picked him because he was the first person that popped in my head when I even thought of doing this topic. So my first is Kid Yamamoto. He was one of the earliest people like I remember just even watching fight. And like when I first started watching MMA, most of the fights I watched were, you know, Japanese guys just slugging it out. And I was really young, so I didn't know a lot of their names. I just, you know, hey, these Japanese guys are fighting. They're really good. Let's watch. So later on, I had to research and find out that one of the guys I was watching was Kid Yamamoto. And he was just this really small, super athletic dude who was just knocking people out cold. And whether he won or lost a fight, his fights to me were just always crazy entertaining. And yeah, man, Kid was probably like my favorite Japanese fighter like ever. So, and he's the reason that I hate Mighty Mouse because Mighty Mouse beat him.
Yeah.
So it's another story for another day. But yeah, so Kid is my first Mount Rushmore representative.
All right. So you go second now.
All right.
Because I'm changing the rules. Damn it.
All right. Second on my Mount Rushmore. This wasn't too hard to get him on there. Chuck Liddell is second on my Mount Rushmore. I probably kind of started, I'm gonna say, I guess semi-regularly watching MMA probably around like early teens, and I was not a Tito Ortiz fan, so I love Chuck Liddell because he always just beat the crap out of Tito.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like. So, but like Chuck was just one of those dudes. Like you look at his physique, he's not like physically the scariest looking guy. Like he's not running around with like an 8-pack. He's not like super jacked, but he was just knocking people out just cold. Just every Iceman fight to me was just, I had to watch because I knew hands were going to fly. And whether he lost or won, kind of like Kid, man, he was just one of those dudes. It was so entertaining to watch him fight. And then him beating Tito mercilessly was just icing on the cake. Like, and he had a mohawk.
Yeah.
Like, he was a bad man. Like, Chuck Liddell, I'm pretty sure he's probably my favorite light heavyweight of all time. It would be John Jones, but John Jones is whatever. John Jones is John Jones. He does other stuff that, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not even going to get into it. But, yeah, Liddell, man. Liddell was awesome. Liddell was just one of those dudes in that era of UFC, like around that time when the UFC was getting some buzz. Like, he was easily my favorite person to watch.
All right.
I got to keep going.
All right. So, the Thomas Jefferson of my Mount Rushmore is not a fighter. There are literally only two people who I'd pick. One is Mark Ratner, who was very influential. He was the Nevada State Athletic Commissioner. He is, I want to say, the architect of like the unified rule system. But he is amongst its most biggest influencers. And the other one's going to throw you out for a loop. It's John McCain. The Maverick. Because without John McCain, MMA would still probably be two guys fighting gloveless in a cage and kicking each other in the dick.
For historical context, can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
No. Well, Thomas Jefferson, Declaration of Independence, officially, well, not officially, but it was a declaration of that things were changing.
All right.
Gosh, I should have thought this through more.
How you doing? All right.
No, I'm not.
They get the gist.
Yeah. So in the most abstract of ways, that's Mark Ratner and/or John McCain. So my theory is, if we're doing the Mount Rushmore, we're going to split John McCain and Mark Ratner in half. We have John McCain's chin and the rest of Mark Ratner's face.
All right. I'll accept that. That works. All right, so you've done two. All right, you've done like 1.5, 2.
That is 2.5, my friend.
All right, you got a fusion. So, all right, number 3. All right, so 3 for me. This was hard. I'm switching out at the very last moment. I feel like I want to piss people off.
Make it damn white.
You know what? Pissing people off. All right, so before I do number 3, honorable mention.
Lloyd McKenzie.
He should be. His shorts should just be. His shorts should just cover Mount Rushmore.
Much like Teddy Roosevelt, Cody McKenzie also wore basketball shorts at his fights.
So, honorable mention Mount Rushmore, Jose Aldo. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain that. If you've been watching Jose since WEC, you know. Like, you know. I'm not even going to elaborate. And if you haven't done your homework, you know, shame on you. But he's going to be an honorable mention in the spirit of pissing people off. Number 3, Mount Rushmore. Your favorite middleweight champion, Michael Bisping, who everybody hates. And I'm one of 2 people in America who seems to be a fan of his. I'm going to throw him on there just off of the merit of, ever since I've watched him, he was back when I actually used to watch The Ultimate Fighter, like back when that show actually somewhat held my attention. Mm-hmm. He was one of those dudes who, not the most athletic, not the most technically skilled, but still managed to stay relevant, you know, pretty much throughout his entire career. Sure, it took him a while to win the big fight, but like he always managed to keep himself in a mix. Like he was always at the cusp. You know, he was knocking on the door for the longest time. And to be honest, after the Chael Sonnen loss, I didn't think he was gonna. I thought that was it. Like I thought he wasn't gonna come close to any more title shots. But
he lucked out.
He has some. He did.
Chris Weidman got hurt. He lucked out.
Yeah, he found his way to the top of the mountain. Say what you want about his defenses, he made it there. So like I have a lot of respect for that dude. Like I feel like he fights people who I guess you could say are like more talented, like physically gifted than him, and he finds ways to stay in fight. And dude is tough as nails, man. Like cardio just machine. Somehow he never stops. So yeah, I know everyone hates me. I don't care. Michael Bisping, he's on the Mount Rushmore.
I just realized that more than George Washington, Royce is more like Thomas Paine.
So you got your other.
My Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, who's Teddy?
I'm gonna go with GSP. Contemporary man who led a change in MMA in the way that fighters approach fights. He's arguably one of the greatest of all time. I would not argue the same for Teddy Roosevelt, but I'm kind of a dick. Yeah, well, he did make the park system, but he was a racialist. See, that's a deal breaker for me.
It's hard to find who wasn't back then.
Much like Teddy Roosevelt, GSP fought through polio. I don't know if that's true, but he was a garbage man. So there's that. What else? God, yeah, because contemporarily speaking, we found out that what was Roosevelt like? 12, 13 years before they started building Mount Rushmore.
Sure.
So
you're the historian. I'm not sure.
I'm not a U.S. historian. I'm a Bergen County historian. Yeah. No, so he is the contemporary figure on this list. Contemporary being a loosely fitting word, because Roosevelt was contemporary on the Mount Rushmore. I'm sure he was happy to be next to Washington and Jefferson and Lincoln. So, yeah, like I was saying, like Roosevelt led this whole new era into the 20th century. A different time, we were adding states, blah blah blah, and GSP, I think, parallels that in the way that he led a new, I don't want to say not coalition, but like how his legacy will last over the next generation of fighters, I guess, because a lot of Roosevelt's, like I said, a lot of Roosevelt's aims and like his progressivism for his time anyway did stick around for a very long time. Like I said, we still have the park system that he started, and I feel like GSP represents that in a lot of ways, where he is he was a very new. He's an innovative guy.
Right. I can definitely agree with that.
So I hate my pick for Lincoln, but I have to pick him.
All right, go ahead. I'll let you do this one, and then I'll do my last one.
Do you know who it is?
Actually, no. Actually, you know what? Because I feel like yours is gonna be better than mine.
No. It's obvious and sad at the same time.
Are you gonna do what I think you're gonna do?
I mean, probably.
I feel it. We have a bald head.
Yeah.
Oh no. Go ahead, give him a speech.
All right, let's start off with, I am not a big fan of Tito Ortiz. But, and again, all of these analogs are in the widest possible, like if my Mount Rushmore was a person, and you were comparing him to another person, like the only thing that they would have similar is like they're the same height. You know what I mean?
Right.
They are only the same in the fact that they are a person. So, why does Tito get to be Lincoln? Mostly because during the UFC's darkest times, Tito was the man who carried the torch.
He did.
And he held it down. And while we don't remember him as fondly as we do Lincoln, because Tito's kind of like a running joke.
He was that guy.
He was that guy.
He was that guy.
When that held things together when everything was going wrong.
Yeah. And I'll give him that. As much as I was not a Tito fan.
As much as I'm not a Tito fan.
Right. He was that guy for a period of time. And he
thought he was cool.
Yeah. And he wasn't a bad fighter. He was a good fighter. I just didn't like him.
Let me Google if Lincoln had a cracked skull. I mean, he had a hole in his head. So, like, yeah, they're basically the same.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Cracked skull.
I'm not mad at that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that. Did he?
Maybe.
I feel like at one point
I feel like this is a real thing that happened. Maybe I'm imagining it in my head to make my pick seem more realistic. Oh my god, fracture of skull and injury of the brain in boyhood.
We have a historical connection. They are both one and the same.
They're the same person. You heard it here first.
Yep.
Abraham Lincoln is in fact Tito Ortiz. We've had a Mexican president.
Right. Oh man. All right. I'm not mad at that pick.
What's the 19th century like parallel to a porn star?
What would you call them back then? Because that wasn't really like a thing, but
I mean,
you still have like brothels and stuff like that.
We still have hookers now, but I wouldn't call Jenna Jameson a hooker.
Right.
Like, did the 19th century have like,
was it like silent porn? Was that was that a thing? I don't know.
I don't know. I was thinking more like, did people just pay like to watch people have sex? Like, you just go to some guy's house and he's like, hey, you can pay $50 to watch me have sex.
There had to have been some shady black market like I'm pretty sure somebody was. Yeah, that was a thing. I would bet money that
Mary Todd Lincoln was a showgirl. You heard it here first.
Hey, historical news, MMA news, got it all under one roof. So, since you picked George St. Pierre, who was going to be my fourth pick, in the spirit of not doubling up on the same person,
GSP freed the slaves. Just saying.
Right. I'm gonna switch my last pick out. It was gonna be GSP. My fourth person on Mount Rushmore is gonna be the gentleman fighting this weekend, Junior Dos Santos. So I'm just gonna run down this resume of victims real quick. Fabricio Verdum, Stephen Struve, Coke Cop, Gilbert Ivel, Gabriel Gonzaga, Roy Nelson, Shane Carwin, Cain Velasquez, Frank Mir, Mark Hunt, Stipe, and Ben Rothwell.
Cain Velasquez believes in states' rights. I'm just saying.
And let's keep in mind, these wins were not close. Most of them, from my memory. These were mostly savage, one-sided KOs, TKOs, or in case of Roy Nelson, somehow surviving 3 rounds of just...
I think the closest fight you named out of all of those was basically the Hunt fight.
Probably Hunt and Stipe.
Did he win that? Oh, he did win that fight. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Those are probably the closest two. No, he beat Stipe.
Yeah. So,
Like, and I mean, from my memory of that fight, it was one of those fights that was close, but to me, like, it was clear who won.
Yeah.
But Stipe definitely had moments. But I think JDS was just a little faster with the hands, a little.
I remember it being Stipe won the first 2 rounds, and then like he either gassed or JDS woke up because he just kind of looked sluggish in the first 2 rounds, and then he just like kind of beat up on Stipe for 3 rounds.
Yeah, he turned it on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just based off of resume, and he's probably I don't say my all-time favorite heavyweight, but he's up there.
So all you're saying is JDS has a resume that's equal to Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're close.
I feel like there might. I feel like
if JDS gets this belt back this weekend, or next weekend rather, I should say, I think they're on equal footing.
It's really telling that I don't like any of the people on my Mount Rushmore except for GSP.
So
I feel like Thomas Jefferson was a little less spineless than John McCain. Might have undersold him there.
So yeah, I think JDS has accomplished just as much as Lincoln. He's almost there. If he gets the belt back, they're equal footing, or he surpasses.
JDS was actually the Abraham Lincoln of Brazil.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Hey.
Oh my God! I have this King of the Hill episode running in the background. And there's a flood of knit too.
Oh
it's
man,
magical.
It's the same way the Simpsons predict King of the Hill is.
King of the Hill. The way the Simpsons predicts politics and social changes in the world, King of the Hill does the weather.
Yeah. Propane gang all day. All right, well, we are closing in on a little over hour 30. Any parting shots, shout outs, recognition, anybody you want to shine some light on?
I got 3, I guess.
All
and
right.
they're all lady boxers. Shouts to Katie Taylor, who fought on the undercard for Joshua Klitschko. She beat the girl she was fighting via 7th round TKO or KO, I can't even remember. And it guaranteed her a title fight in her next bout. Not one of those fake titles like, the NABF Intercontinental Budweiser sponsored title, but like the actual world heavyweight world championship. She's fighting this the holder of the belt is this Argentinian woman whose name escapes me right now. Shouts to her. Shouts to Marlon Esparza, who by the time y'all hear this probably will have fought already. She's having her second pro fight. She's the 2012 U.S. Olympic bronze medalist, first woman to ever win a medal for the United States. She is fighting on the Canelo Chavez Jr. card tomorrow, I believe. And shouts to Clarissa Shields, who got her 3rd pro fight book today. It's going to be like June 16th, I think. Let me just make 100% sure. It's right here.
Definitely got to watch that.
I'm not sure if it's going to be televised. It kind of looks like it's a Friday night thing. It might be like a showbox card.
I'm a quilter, and I'm a mother, and I'm a grandmother.
Yeah, she is scheduled for June 16th, Friday. It'll be Mary Rancière, who's like 7-8-1 or whatever. And she's really trying to get that fight with Christina Hammer. And she wants it this year. And that's awesome to see because I think she can knock her out. Oh, while we're here, I'm talking about these Olympic Olympic champions, medalists, whatever, who are fighting in the pros. Shouts to Nicole Adams, whose next fight will be a 3-minute round fights, which boxing needs so much. Women's boxing needs so much because it's ridiculous that they fight 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, that's not even enough to like
they fight 2
you
minutes.
You could spend 2 minutes.
They fight 2 minute rounds.
You could spend that just circling around.
Not just 2-minute rounds, but they only get 10 rounds for championship fights.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah. And Nicole Adams she'll be fighting on the 13th. So I guess the week after y'all hear this, or the Saturday after y'all hear this. So yeah, good stuff going on.
Yeah, shout out to Clarissa Shields. I'm definitely looking. I hope that fight somehow finds its way line at least. So
everybody go watch T-Rex. It's on Netflix. Also Barry Jenkins, I think the guy's name is. The guy who now I don't want to screw up his name because I don't want freaking Black Twitter getting after me. Barry Jenkins, yes, the director and writer of Moonlight, is writing the first script of a movie based on Clarissa Shields' life.
Ah, that's dope. That's a good look.
Yep. So
that's a good look. Yeah, look up Clarissa Shields if you guys don't know.
Like I said, go watch a documentary about her being going to the Olympics at 17 and winning a gold medal, and just her life before that, and it's powerful, painful stuff, and it's extremely topical considering what's happening in Flint, where like they just served 8,000 eviction letters for people who refuse to pay for water.
People who don't want to pay for water.
Tainted water.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly moving stuff. So go and support. If you're in Detroit, go watch the fight live. Go buy a ticket.
Yeah. I guess I got 3 as well. First shout out, Line Fight 36. This head kick by, I'm going to try not to butcher his name, Lurtsila Chumpantar.
Oh, right.
Probably killed his name.
Yeah, the question mark kick.
Yeah. He fought Jacob Hebson, who made his debut that fight. Which,
oh my god!
Props to him. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was a replacement.
I hope so, because there's no way he should have been fighting.
So he comes in basically fighting a dude who's fought well over 200 times.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
But nevertheless, this fight ended in a spectacular question mark head kick that if you haven't seen the highlights of, if I remember, I'll put the link in the description. That was probably one of my favorite KOs in any combat sport this year. So yeah, check that out. Second shout out will go to Tyson Nam for keeping the head kick theme going. Flatlined Ali Bagatinov, former UFC title challenger.
Top 10 flyweight.
Right, top 10 flyweight. Tyson Nam manages to catch some impressive bodies, man. He's knocked out Eduardo Dantes and came back against Ali, who Ali was pretty much tooling him most of the fight, and then head kicks happen and lives change. And yeah, Tyson Nam manages to get another top 10 win.
Tyson Nam, same amount of top 10 wins as Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Hey man,
fight me.
Tyson versus the world. Tyson versus Mighty Mouse.
Tyson versus the world. He goes to your country and knocks you out.
Right. In front of your home crowd. Just, yeah, man. So shout outs to Tyson Nam. And third shout out, it's not even really a shout out, but I just wanted to give a heads up. I will be, alright, so by the time you guys hear this podcast, I'm not sure if this will be out, but I'm recording a podcast tomorrow, which is Saturday the 6th, which that date will pass by the time you guys have heard this. But yeah, I'm doing an anime review. I'll be having my first guest. I don't consider you a guest. You're like my podcast roommate.
Yeah.
So you're in the house already.
Yes.
So I'll be having the first person not in the house.
I'm eating up all your food, bro.
Right. So we got somebody else who will be entering the household.
Also, I sleep naked, just letting you know.
Oh boy, I don't think she'll appreciate. Oh, she doesn't know. She'll be surprised, But yeah, I got a guest coming through tomorrow. We're gonna talk about some anime. We're gonna chop it up for a little bit. I'll be recording that tomorrow, probably around like 5 something. So
right.
I don't know the order in which I'm gonna drop these podcasts. haven't really thought of that, but
Bruh, when you get to the first season of Pokemon, I'm your man.
I know so. Oh, they don't have the old ones on Netflix. Like I know there's Pokemon on Netflix, but I don't know if
I think they have the first one. I think it's just.
Is it the first one?
So. I don't know.
Hey, because I would legit go back and watch that.
Dude,
I enjoyed
it.
I enjoyed that first season.
Pokemon. I'm trying to think of anime I've watched. I haven't watched anime since college. Shit.
Oh,
I'm slacking.
You missed out on
I haven't watched anime since high school because I just had no time since college.
Oh man, it's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, never seen Attack on Titan. I only kind of seen like Super.
You've probably seen more than I have. I think I watched the first 3 episodes, which, if you know Dragon Ball Z, are all filler.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't watch anything after that. But that's on my list of next animes to watch. But I have dedication issues with shows that are like over 20 episodes, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna get around to it.
When you get to Bebop, let me know.
That ashamedly is on my list to watch because when I was younger, I used to watch it, but I never watched like the entire like series. Like I just caught episodes here and there.
DVD, I can see it from here. Like the original one that they released.
Oh, yeah, see, I got the movie. Like I've seen the movie a couple of times, but I never watched like. I didn't finish the show. Actually, you know what? I should watch that before Dragon Ball Super, just to keep dragging. I keep avoiding Dragon Ball Super. Like
it's like one of those things like you watch and you're like, yeah, whatever issues.
We'll see. So yeah, be on the lookout for that, man. I'm excited to have an outside guest. Hopefully, she's not shocked by the nakedness.
They never are.
Yeah.
I mean, if she knew me, it wouldn't be, because I'm very open with my nakedness.
If she hears this, I hope she knows. It's just a joke. I hope she knows. Actually, you know what though? To be honest, by the time we record, I probably won't even have edited this podcast out. So I'll
that could be as vulgar as I freaking want.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm wearing.
I'll let her know.
Nope.
I'll let her know if she does happen to hear his. It's just a joke. I definitely want you on this podcast. It's all jokes here. I'm not trying to creep you out. I just got to throw that out there. I can't scare off my first guest before she even enters the door.
I mean, it's what you said I was your roommate, bro. This is what you is what you signed up for when you signed the lease.
I did. But yeah, you guys be on the lookout for that. That'll hopefully these will be coming sometime, at least by like the middle of next week. But yeah, so we're about an hour 40 something. That's good. We didn't have any fights to talk about, but we still managed to.
Hey,
yeah.
We still managed to bitch about something.
We did. That's what we do in MMA. Because there's never a shortage of things to complain about.
Exactly. We are entitled to this.
We are. We put in money to these people. All right, I don't put in money. I stream, but I put in money every now and again. I'm probably gonna put in money for 211. I probably will.
I probably will too.
Yeah. But
just not the whole thing.
Yeah. Right.
Fucking, you want $10 for HD? You want $10 more for HD? Kiss my ass.
Hey, standard gets the job done for me.
Dude, as long as the damn thing doesn't freeze like the streams I actually watch do,
right?
Like we'll be good.
Right.
I'm sick of watching the prelims in HD and then watching crap.
But yeah, we'll definitely be covering that card, so that'll probably be like the next big thing we cover. So be on the lookout. Content's coming. Things are happening. Life is good. It's okay.
Hey, it's okay. It's all right.
Right.
Take or leave it.
So yeah, as always, when people are being kicked and or punched in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And we'll catch you guys soon. Hopefully, until next time.